I usually try to watch my films pretty quietly. Sure, there are a few moments where I laugh or yelp or ask what movie I've seen that actor in before, but for the most part, I rarely get too fired up during a movie, so much that I have to scream at the screen. But while I was watching Unwelcome, I enjoyed quite a bit of it, but there was this one thing, just this one thing that drove me absolutely nuts. Let's get into it. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Unwelcome, aka The Little People, is new this week in theaters and available on demand and digital download from Wellgo USA. It's directed by John Wright and written by Mark Stay and John Wright. After surviving a home invasion, a young couple, Maya, played by Hannah John Kamen, and Jamie, played by Douglas Booth, decide to move to a farmhouse in the Irish countryside. But with the new country home comes many repairs, and most importantly, a local tradition to leave an offering to legendary fairy folk known as the Red Hats in a doorway in the back of their garden. Maya and Jamie scoff at the notion, but agree to do it to appease the locals. As Maya and Jamie expect the birth of their new child, they forget to appease the Red Hats with their offering and find that the legends of these little gnome-like monsters are real. So while the typical monsters have been run into the ground in modern movies, I have to say it's kind of refreshing to see fairy folk get the creature feature treatment. The little monsters in Unwelcome are quite terrifying at times. They're framed in an ominous light, doing evil deeds just off camera, and only show up in full view in the final act. The Redcaps are impressive. Both CGI and practical effects with camera trickery was used to bring them to life, and it works for the most part. But though their threat is heavy to the protagonists, they still are quite similar to the friendly garden gnomes that have decorated yards for ages now. This makes the threat, as powerful as they are, feel kind of trivial when one swift kick could take care of the situation and send them flying. We've sort of been conditioned to see these little creatures as cute in real life, or as comical in fantasy films. So as much as the filmmakers try, they just don't feel as much of a threat to our protagonists. These filmmakers seem to know the Red Hats really aren't enough threat for our couple, so they double down on that threat. You see, Unwelcome is a bizarre kind of film. It makes up for its lack of threat of the wee monsters by throwing in a family of hillbilly jerks at Maya and Jamie. So the threat is twofold. One, other dimensional goblin creatures. The other, a family of assholes. This sort of makes Unwelcome a modern retelling of Straw Dogs, with the city couple going to war against some unsavory locals. If you remember Straw Dogs, or its neutered remake, it's about a family pushed to the brink, with the man in the relationship starting out as a pushover and gaining teeth while his wife and home are threatened. In Unwelcome, we have the family assaulted at the beginning and Jamie unable to fight back against the home invaders. In the end of the opener, it's Maya who is able to fend off the intruders and call 911. Later, when the family, led by Cole Meany, turns against them, Jamie proves to be equally ineffective, and that, my friends, is the major problem of Unwelcome. I'm all for female empowerment. I feel horror's modern roots are made up with the theme that the meek rise up against the powerful, and most of the time, survive. I know that most of these horror films star a woman who rises up and takes on adversity, finding power and courage where she didn't know she had it before. The thing is, Unwelcome veers from its original concept in order to tell another. Namely, it starts out as a story about how Jamie fails to protect his family. His pregnant wife and home are put into danger, and he is incapacitated both physically and psychologically. This forces his wife to take charge and do the job, which is fine. But the way Unwelcome is structured, Jamie is given a chance at redemption, but the second time his house is threatened, he does the same exact thing. Jamie cowers and is practically useless against both the Redcaps and the asshole family, leaving the very pregnant Maya to take them all on. There's no growth in Jamie's character, who all the way through the film has a complex about not being able to act in the beginning during his family's time of need. By the end, when they need him again, he's equally useless, so useless that I was rooting against him to survive the entire ordeal. Instead, Maya, who I guess is the bigger name in the film, as Hannah John Kamen does play the ghost in the Marvel movies, is given everything to do. So instead of a Straw Dog-style film, which 90% of Unwelcome pays homage to, it turns into your typical female empowerment film. But just because it's a female empowerment film, that doesn't mean you have to make your male protagonist such a simpering puss, and that's exactly what Unwelcome does. Had the film given Jamie something to do in the climax, instead of cowering in the dark, it would have been a stronger movie. Keep the part where Maya proves to be the stronger of the two, but at least give the poor schlub something he can accomplish as well. Because Unwelcome doesn't do that, it just trampled on any investment I had with the family. It wasn't a family worth fighting for. Maya was worth preserving because she was carrying a child and proved to be tough in the face of adversity, but Jamie fails to have any kind of value in this relationship, so much so that you wonder why Maya is even with this pitiful excuse of a man. The acting is fine. Hannah John Kamen is strong in the lead. She is probably going to be going places. She has an interesting look and quality to her. It was great seeing Christian Nairn, though I honestly think the poor guy is going to be typecast as a Hodor-like character for the rest of his life. Cole Meany seems to be slumming it in this creature feature, but does a solid job. But any time Douglas Booth, who plays Maya's husband Jamie, is on screen, you want to slap him, and then slap Maya for pairing up with this beta male mess of a human. If not for that one thing, the fact that they made the husband's role so ineffectual that he might as well have not been there, and the film ignored the arc established from the beginning, I might have given this movie a mild recommend. But because of the direction Unwelcome took with its male protagonist, casting him as the bound bimbo on the train tracks while the pregnant female superhero swoops in to help, the film lost me. If it isn't okay to do that with female roles anymore, that doesn't make it okay to do that to male roles now.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're